Ah, hello, gorgeous. I'm so excited. I'm going to share with you some absolute wisdom, some absolute pearls of absolute genius that's going to have you going from feeling fat, frumpy, and fatigued all day long. And we're going to show you how you can finally fix it. It's about hormone health to hormone harmony. And I know you're so tired. I've been stuck in the cycle of feeling crap and not knowing where to go. All right. So there's a few reasons why you have landed on this training. And it's because you're frustrated. It's because you've lost faith in your body. You've tried everything. You've done all the diets. You've Googled all the quick fixes for hormone healing. You're following all the gurus out there. And yet it doesn't matter what you try, you still feel crap. Okay. You're also fed up because you've been to your GP and probably other naturopaths or natural therapists and gynecologists, and they've done tests, and for some of you, maybe everything's normal, but you know so deeply in your heart that everything is not normal. You feel crap. Okay. So no tests can deny you what you're feeling. Your body's, you're struggling to lose weight. You probably have no libido. You are cranky all the time, and you're so over having these emotional outbursts that feel like they're completely out of your control because your hormones are all over the place. Yes, 100%, I will validate you. Your hormones are a hot mess, and that is why you are here. But the other thing that's going on for you is that you're probably also a bit fired up. You still have that small belief, even if that light is flickering and getting dimmer and dimmer, but there is that still part of you inside of you that knows that there is a way that you can feel better, that knows that is your birthright to thrive, to love your body, to feel happy and confident, to have that deep soulful connection with your partner and your kids, and to just feel on your game. Okay. And that's what hormones are about. They're supposed to guide us and navigate us to feeling our best. But when you're disconnected from yours, when you're understanding the messages that they're giving you, when yours are just so far out of whack that you don't even know where to start, it can feel overwhelming. But don't worry, I'm going to take you through this, and I'm going to give you, 3 major teachings around why your hormones are out of whack and what you can do to fix them. Okay. So listen up. So the first thing I want to remind you is, you know what? You're not crazy. You're 100% not crazy, and you are certainly not alone. There are so many women in the exact same position as you who have lost trust in their body, who are frustrated, they don't know where to start. So just remember this, all through this presentation, you are not crazy. I hear you, I see you, I feel you, and I have some really cool news for you. So anyway, who the hell am I? Well, they call me Stacey. And you know what? I am a naturopath nutritionist by profession, but I am a girl that was sitting in exactly the same space as you probably almost 10 years ago now. So when it comes to female reproductive problems and hormone health, I wrote the book on that, literally the 7-step hormone healing system. But it's because I experienced everything. So one thing that I can actually honestly say about my journey is that I do genuinely cherish and accept absolutely everything that I went through. And believe me, it was hormone hell. And the reason I do is because it was a complete turning point in my life. And there's a good reason why my hormones are out of whack. They're out of whack because my hormones are trying to communicate with me. So let's take you back to the height of my scenario. I was 27 at the time, and everything was just ever so slowly falling out of control. I thought I was really happy. I was partying like a rock star, out drinking, partying with my friends, 3, 4, 5 nights a week. I was working full time. I just finished my university degree. I was also working as a personal trainer, and I had 0 self-worth and 0 body image. So I was like a drill sergeant to my regime. I mean, being a qualified naturopath nutritionist, I had a fair bit of knowledge around health and nutrition. So I was eating well, very different to what I am now, but I was eating pretty well, and I was exercising like a demon because I didn't want to get fat, or should I say fatter than what I already was. I hated how I looked. Every decision I made day to day was ruled by trying to change the way I looked. And essentially what happened to me was that I developed adrenal fatigue. Now, some of you will have adrenal fatigue and know exactly what I'm talking about. The weight gain was very slow to begin with, but all of a sudden I hit this turning point where the weight just poured on, and I got to a point where I was 14 kilos heavier than what I am now. I started getting outbreaks of cystic acne all over my back in particular. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. My periods were unmanageable, like flooding. I had my thyroid became underactive. Another reason for the weight gain, I was getting random hot flushes. My moods were all over the place. I essentially had depression, and I was essentially diagnosed as having started menopause at the ripe old age of 27. So essentially what was happening, I was in this adrenal deficiency stage, okay? Premature ovarian failure. So I had absolutely everything going. I also had been diagnosed with genital warts. So there was a whole emotional roller coaster going on there around shame, and everything just kept piling on. But the thing was, these symptoms didn't just start randomly overnight. They were ticking along in the background, but I was able to disguise them because I was, mostly eating well and looking after myself, but I was basically ignoring them. I wasn't tuning into them. I was trying to symptomatically fix them one by one, just so I could get through, just so I could feel a little bit better. But what happens is when we're not living in alignment, like I was not. See, I had graduated as a naturopath nutritionist, but I didn't actually believe in myself back then. So I was actually just working as a personal assistant. I was really not stepping up to the plate. I was taking the easy road, shall we say. But again, I was busy, right? I was burning the candle at both ends. I was partying like a rock star. I was exercising like a demon. I was still studying so many extra courses, because even though I'd done a double degree in nutrition naturopathy, my lack of self-worth meant that wasn't enough, and I had to keep doing more because, I had to just keep proving myself right. So everything was wrong that was going in my world. So of course it made complete sense that my body started to communicate with me. It started to show me all the ways that I was not living in alignment with my truth, that I was not in this open-hearted, beautiful, self-loving state. I was hating myself. I was out partying 5 nights a week because I was searching for acceptance. I was searching for connection. I was searching for everything outside of myself, because underneath it all, I was miserable. I was alone. I was lonely. And when you're not following your truth, when you're not living to your purpose, there's no way you can really feel fulfilled. And this is what was going on with me. And so my body started to communicate this with me. And here I am. You can see a picture of me there. My face is extremely round and swollen, lots of inflammation. So this is the adrenal fatigue thing, the excess cortisol that was going on in my body because the huge amount of stress. Now, obviously drinking alcohol 3, 4, 5 nights a week doesn't help with that inflammation at all. I was quite red. I was 14 kilos heavier there than what I am now. And you can see my entire body was also breaking out in eczema. My poor little body was screaming, absolutely screaming at me to just stop giving all my energy away, giving all my power away, and just come back and just notice me. My body was basically a huge cry out for help. And so everything that you're experiencing, my dear woman, I've been there, I've done that. And I understand the frustration. I understand the not knowing where to start, because there were no answers. Even though I said I was a qualified naturopath and I had a fair idea of what needed to happen, but when you're faced with these diagnoses, and I was told that I should start IVF. I was 27, I was single. That wasn't an option for me. But the fear that's instilled in you, and that feeling like a failure as a woman, that really kicked me out the butt. And that's what drove me to really move forward and start to sort of really step back and look at this from a spiritual, holistic point of view, and really just start to surrender into, what is my body trying to tell me? What do I need to do? And it took a massive life overhaul for me personally, because that's how far out of alignment I was living. So a few things you need to know about me, because this is how you're going to make a decision whether my message aligns with you, whether this resonates with you, whether you're someone that you can trust, whether I'm someone that you can believe in, whether my values are something that really align with your values. So the biggest, most important thing is absolutely balance. Now, I believe that we have come here as humans to live life to the fullest, to play, to have fun, to experience. So I'm all about having wines with your girlfriends. I'm all about eating that goddamn chocolate cake whenever it is that you feel like it. It's about balance. It's about making sure that you are doing as many health promoting things on a day-to-day basis that override the maybe nasty things like drinking alcohol or, enjoying those foods. Life is for living. And if you are not connecting in with those joyous, fun-filled, guilty pleasures, then what's the point of life? And this is a big part of what I teach. We need to find your balance. We need to give you as many tools as possible to clean up the mess, so to speak, so that you're not burning the candle at both ends, so that you're not completely one end of the spectrum and end up sick and unwell. We want to teach you to be listening to your body, because your body will be giving you subtle signals all day long to let you know where you're out of alignment, where you're out of balance, and where you need to just come back in and practice a bit more self-care. So that is one of the most important philosophies that I want you to understand about me. The next is that it has to be a holistic approach. And for holistic, what I mean is a physical, as in things that actually directly affect the physiological state of the body. So this is our diet, herbs, nutrition, lifestyle type things. We need a spiritual approach. And this is just about acknowledging that you, beautiful human being, are so much more than just you. We are connected to this incredible divine universe. We have access to downloads and information and support that really connects us to our truth and our being. So I want to teach you these practices as well. And then most finally, our emotional well-being as well. Because if you have suppressed emotions, if you are not connected with your emotions and we're suppressing those, they settle down in that pelvic cavity, in our womb space, and they create stagnant energy, which creates disease, inflammation. And this is why we have such a rise in, female reproductive problems, endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, infertility. These conditions are at record all-time highs. More and more women are being faced with these conditions, not to mention PMS. I mean, I feel like every second woman I know feels crazy at the time of their cycle, right? And that's probably one of the reasons why you're here, because that out of control, crazy, just hating on yourself, hating on your family, hating on everyone around you, and it feels awful. And it's because we have this deep disconnect with our hormones. We don't know how to read them. We don't know how to feel our emotions. We don't know how to express our emotions. And so we suppress our emotional needs because we don't know how to speak up and ask what we need. Everything gets stuffed down. And in that PMS window, it's like we have no filter, right? It all comes flying out at the top. And it's because we haven't been taught how to speak up and ask what we want throughout that entire month. So really addressing the physical, spiritual, and emotional causes of your hormone imbalance is what is going to mean that we're not just, putting a Band-Aid over the top of it right now. We're actually looking at it from a holistic perspective and going, what are all the reasons why this is happening, and addressing all of those reasons why it's happening so that we can heal this once and for all. Okay. And this is about addressing the cause. Okay. We don't want to put a Band-Aid over it. We want to identify what is causing the hormonal imbalance and treating those. Okay. I don't want to hear any of this symptomatic relief, and it's so easy to do, right? You can, and you've probably already tried it, PMS, Google, what's some treatments for PMS? And you might have done that. And then it came up with a whole list of evening primrose oil, magnesium, vitamin B6. And maybe you went and supplemented that, but nothing worked, right? Or it worked for a little bit, and then here you are, 3 months later, and you're just as crazy and angry in your premenstrual window, but it didn't do anything because that only addressed, a couple of elements of the whole picture, that whole physical, spiritual, emotional picture. And, just trying to supplement or put a synthetic hormone over the top of it is only going to hold you for a very small amount of time. Your soul is going to keep screaming out. Your hormones are going to keep tapping away with a message of what they're trying to tell you, because the hormonal imbalance is perfect, right? The hormonal imbalance is the message system. It's what's telling you at a bigger scale what is going on in your body, okay? So we don't want to suppress the symptoms. We'll get to more of that later. The next is about personal responsibility, and this is such a powerful thing. And if you can take this away from this today, then you're already halfway there, girlfriend, because you know what? It becomes so painful. Actually, connecting with the creation of what we've created for our life. And this is not in any way to say that anything that you are experiencing is your fault. No one consciously chooses that. But if we can take personal responsibility for our moods, our choices, our attitudes, our feelings, that's how, through the emotional evolution process, which I'm going to run over in a minute, that's how we can start to take control of everything and helps to understand, because anything we can create, we can uncreate through conscious awareness, through understanding. So if we can take personal responsibility for what is showing up in our world at a physical level, if you're tired, if you're run down, all right, what am I doing to create that? What do I need to fix in my body? If we're stuck in the cycle of blaming everyone in your world for what's going wrong with you, whether it be blaming a stupid disease or be blaming your partner for everything that's going on, take a deep breath and just forgive yourself. Give yourself permission to let that go and just really step into your power and own it, because when we own it, like I said, we can change it. And that is the most incredible gift that I can give you today. Now, the next one is about just really connecting with your fun, your passion, your creativity, and really celebrating that full expression of the feminine. If you are not doing all of those things, well, I'm not surprised you're miserable, because that's, again, the whole point of life, to be having fun, to be following your passions, to be, doing your hobbies regularly. Where too many of us get caught up in our roles and responsibilities as a mother, as a wife, as a partner, in our job role. And slowly, bit by bit, we stop prioritizing our own needs, our own emotional needs, our own desires. And it's all about pleasing everyone else, or doing a great job, or showing up for our responsibility. And slowly that beautiful feminine creativity just gets squashed and squashed and squashed. And if we don't have that beautiful creative outlet, we're not tuning into that, tapping into that, whatever that looks like for you. For some of you, it's art. For some of you, it's dancing. For some of you, it's exercise. For some of you, it's just expression, whatever that looks like for you. If you're not doing that on a regular basis, that beautiful feminine energy will just become more and more suppressed. And you know what your body does when that happens? It creates hormonal symptoms to try and call you back. When you get a hormonal symptom, it is your body going, oi, notice me. I need help. Come back to me. Come back to your body. So this is, one of my next points. It's, your hormonal imbalance is not wrong. Okay. 1 in 3 women experience a hormonal imbalance. Now that is a lot. Okay. And what I wanted you to understand, these 3 key things, is the hormone itself is the message. Your hormones are chemical messages. They are communicating to you what is going on within your body, what needs addressing, what needs fixing, what needs balancing. So 3 key rules that I want you guys to understand is we need to stop blaming your hormones, because your hormones are just the messengers. Let's stop shooting the messenger, right? Okay, stop blaming your hormones. They're just letting you know of a greater disease or disharmony that's going on in your body. So rather than suppress it, we want to go, all right, body, let's get in the habit. What are you trying to tell me? If I'm cranky every month, what are you trying to tell me? If I can't lose weight, what are you trying to tell me? If I have no libido, what are you trying to tell me? Your hormones are communicating with you all day, every day. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to stop trying to fix your hormones. We don't want to fix your hormones. We don't want to balance your hormones. I know that sounds crazy, and you're probably going, what the hell? I only watch this because I want to understand how to balance my hormones. We're going to balance your hormones indirectly by addressing the causes of your hormonal imbalances first, okay? So we don't want to put a blanket on it. We want to stop the message. We want to listen to the message, address what the message is, and then the message is going to go away all on its own. Does that make sense? Okay? So stop trying to suppress the messages that your hormones are trying to give you. They are there. Your body has your back. It wants you to be well. It's constantly trying to tell you. So, if you're getting those skin breakouts, if you're feeling just awful through your digestive system, thank you, body. What are you trying to tell me? I'm listening. I'm ready to listen. Okay? Such a vital part of really reconnecting with your body and understanding hormonal imbalance. So there are 3 things that I'm going to give you a rundown about today. All right? 3 key things that are going to be crucial to you regaining control of your body, reconnecting with your body, balancing out those hormones, and feeling amazing again, having that body that you desire, having a libido again, and feeling alive again, feeling sexy again, feeling like you've got your mojo and you're in control and you're charged. And 3 key teachings that I'm going to go over. All right. Now, the first thing is the things that you haven't yet tried. Okay. I guarantee you that no one else is sharing this sort of information about how to balance your hormones, because these are the 7 things that I specifically put myself through at a physiological level to heal my body. And I didn't learn about these at uni as a naturopath. I certainly didn't hear about them from my doctor. These are things that I tried and I tested and I experimented. I tried a whole lot of other things that didn't work. And these are the key 7 things that made the cut. These are things that you haven't yet heard about. So I'm going to go over those in a bit of detail. Okay. The next, I'm going to go over the emotional evolution process. Now, what this is it's a transformational journey of going from that low vibrational state where we don't have control, where life's happening to us, not for us, okay? You feel like you have no control over everything. We're in that angry, cranky, PMSy state where we're blaming everyone else. We're reactive. We're flying off the handle for no reason. And we're going to help you identify why that happens. And it's all about transforming your triggers, Okay, and then the final thing is about body connection. All right, that innate womb wisdom. These are the 3 key things that you need to address in order to take back control, to heal that endometriosis, to have a libido again, to start shifting that weight that won't budge, which is hormonal. Okay. So the first thing is, the 7-step hormone healing system. And these are 7 causes of hormonal imbalances. All right. Now there's 7 things in that. And this is basically about addressing your adrenals, cleansing the colon. It's about eradicating underlying infections. It's about loving the liver, detoxing the liver, because if our liver's not working properly, there's no way in hell that your body is going to be able to maintain hormones. Because what you've got to understand is our body's secreting hormones all day, every day. Okay. Now, once that hormone has been released, it then travels to the target site, the receptor site in your organ or gland. The hormone attaches to the receptor site and it stimulates the action that it was meant to do. Once it's stimulated that action, that hormone is still there, right? So that's when the liver needs to go and get that old finished hormone, so to speak, and metabolize it and recycle it and get it out of your body. If that's not doing that, of course, different hormones are going to build up in your system, and that's going to throw your overall balance overall. So our liver health is really, really important, okay? Liver detoxification, all right? Things to support your liver. Next, after that, we have our digestive system, and this is such a complex system. I'm not going to go into that in huge detail here, but when we think about the digestive system, it's not just about breaking down food. It's also about that gut lining, having beneficial gut microbiome. It's about not having that inflamed, leaky gut picture going on. It's about secreting the right amount of digestive enzymes and digestive acids in order to break down our food. So it's a very big, complex part, and absolutely, if we've got any problems going with our gut, it's going to have a role and effect where it's going to affect your hormones and your ability to maintain hormone balance. Okay. The next is about really nailing nutrition and making sure that you have the right nutrition for you, right? Because there's 1,000,001 different diets. How do you know what's right for you? Well, the only way you're going to work out what's right for you is through trial and error, is through having a strong channel, that strong connection with your body, that you understand what is right for you, that intuitive connection, that connection to your womb wisdom, because you know what? It's within you. This is your innate inner knowing. There's nothing I can tell you about your body that you don't already know, but we have to slow down for long enough to tune in, to tap in, so that we can actually feel how that food's affecting us. So many of us are rushing through our day. We're eating without thinking. We go on to the next project. And then we wonder why half an hour later we have this huge amount of bloating, because we didn't actually stop and process the food. We didn't check in and ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Is this nourishing my body? Or is this harming my body? So we have the access to tune in, connect into that inner knowing by simply slowing down and being mindful, doing things with intention and mindfulness. Okay. And then the final step is the emotional evolution process, which I'm going to go into in a little more detail for you. All right. So the adrenal system is a huge one. Okay. And there's a few differences. Adrenal activation versus adrenal fatigue. Now, adrenal activation is when we're in that anxiety state. You're on edge. You go, you rush. You're not connected. You're therefore not present with your partner and your children either, because all you're thinking about is that huge to-do list that you've got going on. You're thinking about potentially everything that's wrong with you, why your body looks gross or why that's not happening, or you're stressing about money, but we're not present with our body. We're out of our body. We're in an anxious state. Our nervous system is frazzled. We're going 100 miles an hour. As a result, you could have anxiety. You could have insomnia. You could have highs and lows of energy sort of stuff. But that's this overactivity of the adrenal, that activation of that adrenal and nervous system, versus the other side of the spectrum, which is where everyone will eventually lead if they stay in that activated state for too long, is the fatigue picture. And I know a lot of you are already feeling that. Your battery's flat all day long. You're exhausted. It doesn't matter how much sleep you get the night before, you are exhausted. You are dragging the chain all day long. And then when we get to that point, usually the immune system becomes suppressed. We're not burning fat effectively at all, so we start to put on weight. Our periods can go out of whack. This is a more chronic state. It's like you've been in this state of adrenal stress for such a long time that you've now got to a point where you're exhausted and your body's inflamed. You've probably got achy joints, brain fog. You can't think straight. Your memory and concentration's gone. Like, you're at the end of the scale where you're just bloody exhausted. All right. So when our adrenals are out of whack, doesn't matter what end of the spectrum those things are, it all comes down to our stress response. And the stress response is not a bad thing. We're supposed to have a stress response, and we call this the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response. We're supposed to go into that in order to keep us safe. But the problem is, when we have all this other junk and garbage going on in our world, when our hormones are out of balance, when our liver's not working, when our gut health is crap, when we're stressed chronically, these reactions, we get really reactive in these responses. And so we're flying into that stress response unnecessarily. For example, we're flying into that stress response because some chick at the checkout looked at you the wrong way. You know, there's no need to fly into a stress response just because you feel like someone looked you up and down. This fight or flight or freeze response should be reserved for immediate danger. But of course, we're so activated all day long that we're trigger happy. And so we're sensitive, we're on edge, because especially if we're running around feeling crap about ourselves, we'll become a lot more sensitive to everything in our environment. So you're not a bad person for being this reactive, crazy, stressy person, but it's not serving you. So we want to work through it. We want to just go, all right, I need to do the inner work. I need to just work on my adrenals, okay? And then there's some adrenal personality types, which I'm going to run you through as well. So addressing the adrenals. Now, we have to do this holistically. And what I mean by that is, as I said, we have to address it physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So to address your adrenal activation or adrenal fatigue holistically and physically, we need to rest. We need to relax. And we need to repair. So resting is pretty much what it says. It's about slowing down. It's taking that nap in the middle of the day, even though you know you have 101 things to do. It's taking that nap anyway because that's honoring you, and that's slowing down enough to go, you know what? It doesn't matter what I have to do today. Right now, I'm going to honor my body and just rest, okay? It's about relaxing, okay? So it's one thing to sit down and go, all right, fine, I'm going to rest. I'm going to watch Netflix for an hour. But if you're sitting there watching Netflix but not actually relaxing because your mind's still going 100 miles an hour, thinking about all the things you should be doing, stressing about what you look like, you know, replaying arguments you've had with people over and over and again, or, you know, even watching the movie but also scrolling Facebook and social media and getting triggered by things that are going on in the world, are you really actually resting and relaxing and restoring your adrenals? No, you need to actually tune out and really just be present with you and your body in that moment, okay? Other physical things we can do to repair our bodies are obviously going to be about our diet. Now, if you're adrenally fatigued or adrenally activated, you need carbohydrates. And I know there are so many diets out there telling you that we need to cut the carbs, but if you're eating good quality carbohydrates, they are the fuel source of your body. If you're adrenally stressed, you need to have carbs, and I'm talking about good, healthy, quality carbs, you know, roast potatoes, mashed potato, and your sweet potato, you know, your things like your quinoa, your brown rice, gluten-free grains, okay? We need these. They are a quick source of fuel. If we're in a state of fight or flight response, your body is just burning through you know, your glucose really, really quickly. And and like I said, we get tired and want it even more effectively, or quickly, I should say. So repair, nourish your body. And I know it goes against everything you're thinking, you're freaking out, thinking, I can't eat carbs, I'll get fat. Honestly, if you're struggling to lose weight, the reason you're struggling to lose weight is because you're in this heightened state of stress response all day, every day. To calm that down and help your body to feel safe, to influence your body to actually start burning fat as an energy source again, your body needs to feel safe. We need to be out of that adrenal activation. We need to calm and address the adrenals, and we do that by nourishing the body. So lots of superfoods, lots of variety, lots of fresh fruit and vegetables. Yes, supplementation is going to be a thing that you're going to need in that stage. Beautiful herbs like ashwagandha, also known as withania, you know, rhodiola, romania, holy basil, Siberian ginseng. They nourish, repair, and support the adrenal glands. So we need to have a period of supplementation for that time. We need to be nourishing the body. So feel free to check out the Balance Babes website. There is lots of beautiful products on there that you can use. Now, I don't believe that you should need to supplement for the rest of your life. If we're needing to rely on supplementation for the rest of your life, we haven't done our job properly. We haven't addressed the underlying causes or the emotional and spiritual reasons why you're adrenally all over the place as well. So yes, supplements and physical repair has its place, but it's 1/3 of the whole picture. We need to address you holistically. So what that looks like, addressing you emotionally, is about really looking at our adrenal personality types that will cause us to be in this heightened state of stress response all the time. So let me see if you can identify with any of these ones. The busy addict. You're addicted to being busy. You feel uncomfortable when you're doing nothing. You don't like the feeling of being bored, or you really place your self-worth on being busy. So who can relate? Okay. Next is about undervaluing yourself, where we're not actually really valuing ourselves. We're giving away our time, our energy to people who don't really value us. Okay. It's about comparisonitis. Now, this is a big one. If you're constantly spending all your time looking at other women, scrolling through social media and looking at them and thinking, I'm not as good as her, I'm not as successful as her, I'm not as skinny as her, and then feeling crap about yourself, that is going to stress your body. We're going to be in an adrenal activation state if we're thinking like that all the time. The next personality type is people pleasing. If you're constantly trying to win others' affection and love by people pleasing all day long, we're giving our power away. We're depleting ourselves. How can we ever feel vital and energized if we're constantly giving away and never putting back in and filling our own cup up? Perfectionism is another high standard that we place ourselves on, and it runs ourselves ragged. We deplete ourselves because nothing's ever good enough, right? You can never truly feel content and relaxed because you're always looking to better yourself. Rejecting yourself is another example of that. FOMO, fear of missing out. So you're saying yes and committing to all these things, making yourself even busier than what you should be because you don't know how to say no because you're scared of missing out. And that means that we just run ourselves into the ground. We never have enough time to rest. And we're just not honoring ourselves. We're not really connected with what we truly want to do or not because we're just trying to do everything to people please, okay? And then the last one is invisibility. And this happens when we don't really truly value and honor ourselves, so we don't set clear boundaries. So people basically see that we're invisible. They walk all over us. They take from us. They feel like they abuse us. And you know how that leaves us ending feeling? Resentful, angry, cranky, because people just take from us. But it comes back to you taking that personal responsibility that I chatted about earlier, you setting the boundaries, you learning to say no, you accepting what's okay and what's not okay, and then authentically communicating these boundaries, not from a place of resentment, from a place of, I love me, I'm going to choose me. No, I'm not going to run my 17-year-old absolutely Everest 7 days a week. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, catch the bus today, or call a friend. Saying no, putting boundaries in place, okay? And then the final part of the holistic really addressing that spiritual growth is about really just revitalizing yourself, energizing yourself through things that build you up, okay? And this is like things like your meditations, your calming things that just energize your body. So yoni steaming, all these other beautiful ritual things that we can do just to energize ourselves and calm ourselves. And it's about self-acceptance more than anything. So again, your hormones will never, ever, 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 ever be balanced until you address your adrenals. So what out of those things are going on for you? Okay. Where do you need to stop and slow down? Where do you need to really look at addressing those personality types? Because they're not serving you. They're running you into the ground, and they are the reason why you have adrenal fatigue or you're in the early stages of adrenal activation. Okay. Next one, the next key thing that you haven't yet addressed is your colon health. Now, girlfriend, you're full of shit. And I know that sounds brass, but you know what? The average person has 2 kilos of undigested toxic mucoid plaque lining your intestines and your colon. Now, this stuff builds up because every single time you ingest something that is acidic, inflammatory, irritative, your body deliberately secretes a little bit of mucus to protect itself. So the things I'm talking about, alcohol, various medications, meat, dairy, gluten, coffee, they're a bit irritative, acidic. So your body starts producing all this mucus. Now, the problem is that mucus gradually, slowly builds up over time, and then it oxidizes and it forms this thick rubbery plaque. And that prevents us from absorbing our nutrients. But most importantly, what it does is it creates this toxic internal inside to you. Now, your colon is permeable, which means that anything, all that interchanges within the colon, basically spews out outside into our bloodstream. So that toxic mess that's stuck in there is constantly interchanging with our blood supply. And the poor liver and kidneys have to try and filter it and clean it up. If your colon is toxic and congested, your metabolism will not be working. So this is why you can't lose weight, because your body is so toxic and congested. Your metabolism is not working. that puts burden on your liver. So then, of course, your liver can't recycle and metabolize your hormones the way we need it to. So again, we start building up in things like cortisol, our stress hormones. Estrogen is a big one, and it's the environmental estrogen that we're accumulating from the environment, not necessarily the stuff that you're producing naturally by your ovaries. It's these toxic xenoestrogens that we get from our environment, from personal care products, from being on the pill, from, plastics and, these chemicals and antibiotics that are added to our meats and stuff. They build up in our system and they prevent us from maintaining hormone balance. Okay, so a toxic colon is probably the reason why you're also getting skin breakouts, because this toxicity is now starting to spew out your skin. It causes brain fog, memory concentration issues, sluggishness, digestive discomfort, bloating, constipation, and everything that you can probably already identify with. So we must cleanse the colon. It is a non-negotiable step for you balancing your hormones and getting back on top of your game. All right. Now there's 3 key components to cleansing your colon. And the first one is you must use a really good quality colon cleanse powder. Obviously, I love the Balance Babes Cleanse Me because I've trialed 1,000,001 products, and these are the things that worked. And this is the things that I see clients get the results with. They take that powder. Doesn't taste great, full disclosure, but you know what? You take the powder for that 3 days or that 2-week period, however long you're doing it, and you're going to start to see that mucoid plug coming out. It's very charming, I know, but when you see it coming out, you feel nothing but relief to go, oh my God, I cannot believe that toxic crap was stuck in me, and you just feel so much lighter. There goes that bloating, there goes that continually feeling 6 months pregnant look. It all starts to slowly slide away, and it's the most relieving feeling that you're going to come across. So the powder's the first step. The second thing is, you really want to use enemas, or at the very least go and have a colonic. Now, the reason we do this is because that stimulates and enhances that peristaltic wave. Of course, we have had people who have not used the enemas, and that is okay. But the ones that utilize the enemas at home, they really enhance and fast track the release of that mucoid plaque, which means you can get this colon cleanse process over and done very, very quickly. And we can also add in coffee enemas. I'm a huge fan of coffee enemas. Check out my website. There's a free protocol on how to do coffee enemas. In fact, there's an entire free protocol on how to do colon cleansing on the website. So check that out under the free resources. So you can look through the entire process there. And the final thing is the diet. So you can either do it as a 3-day juice fast, which is a really fast track way of getting it done, which some people prefer to just get in and get it done. Some of you just don't have the mental capacity because maybe you've got kids, maybe you're even breastfeeding or you're pregnant, and we don't want to do that. And then we would go a more slow, steady approach where you would just take your colon powder and follow a plant-based diet, at the very least vegetarian, for 2 to 3 weeks with lots of roughage, lots of fiber, lots of raw fruit and veggies, taking the powder, doing the enemas every day for that 2-3 week period. And it basically is like swallowing a broom, and it gets in there and it goes through there and it absolutely just cleanses out and kicks out all that gunk, all that nastiness, which has got you feeling fat and heavy and flabby and gross. So that's the colon cleanse process. Have a look it up and make sure you make that part of your immediate to-do action list. But remember, if you don't address the adrenals, your body's going to stay inflamed. Your body's going to stay in a state of stress and in that state of panic where it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So we're never going to find that balance. So 2 key things: make sure you do the colon cleanse and make sure you address the adrenals. Now, the third thing that no one else is talking about, and I know your doctor certainly isn't, is really about these undiagnosed infections that are going on within your body, and they're making you feel crap. Okay, they're putting you on edge without you knowing. So these are infections that you don't know you've got. Okay, if you have got these infections in your body living in there, they're sucking the life out of you. Literally, they're making you tired. They're putting your nervous system under stress. Your adrenals are constantly going to be in that, oh my God, I'm under attack. You're never going to really relax in and heal your adrenal fatigue if we've got these underlying infections. Your body's just never going to thrive. Okay, so the 4 types of infections that you'll have at least one of them, no doubt, because this is what leads to hormonal imbalance, and this is why you're here, right? Is an underlying viral infection. So I don't think I know anyone that hasn't had a viral infection at some point in their life. So you may have had glandular fever 20 years ago as a teenager. And even though you're not sick now with glandular fever, you may even notice now, and I start to point out that, actually, sometimes in my premenstrual window, I get little flare-ups, so I can feel achy in my joints or my glands, or I get run down. And this is because in our premenstrual window, our immune system dips a little bit, and anything in our body, an infection in our body, becomes a little bit opportunistic, and it can get a bit more momentum. So you may not have an active viral infection, which a doctor won't test you for, but If they test your body for the IgG antibodies, which represent past exposure, that tells me that that virus is still living somewhere in your body, and it's usually got itself laying dormant in one of your glands, because that's where they live, in your liver, your thyroid gland, other part of the nervous system, and they're just putting stress on your body. And if your body's stressed, the hormones go out of whack, right? So you're seeing the pattern. So if we were to just go and suppress the hormonal symptom, we might feel better in the short term, but then we've just silenced the message the body was trying to tell us about this foreign invader getting in, messing with your system, okay? Because the long-term consequences of living with these pathogens, they make us more and more unwell. They lead to things like autoimmunity. They lead to even higher risk cases of things like cancer. So we don't want to suppress the hormonal symptom that your body was giving you that's trying to let you know it's in there. We're going to address the infection, get that one out once and for all, and then the body won't need to give you the hormonal symptoms. So candida overgrowth is another really common one. If you've ever been on the pill, you will have grown excess candida, because the pills really demolishes our beneficial bacteria, which means candida can start to grow and build momentum. It may manifest in actual vaginal infections like thrush, can just be skin outbreaks, it can be bad breath. You might have candida and not even know you've got it going on. So that's a big one. It's very, very common. And the candida overgrowth usually goes hand in hand with dysbiosis, which is basically the overgrowth of bad bacteria in general within the gut or the small intestine. So this bad bacteria starts to get a thriving on if your colon's been congested for a long time, because what it does is it lives in that dark, dense mucoid plaque. It loves it. It thrives in that non-anaerobic situation. But this bad bacteria muscles out the good bacteria. So we end up with no beneficial bacteria in our gut, and we have all this bad bacteria, which leads to bloating, brain fog, just, that feeling and looking 6 months pregnant all the time, because you have all this bad bacteria in your gut, the gas picture, just feeling yuck all the time. It doesn't matter what you eat, you still feel gross. And that's dysbiotic flora growing. Now, the reason this is so harmful for your hormones is because that beneficial bacteria plays a crucial role in metabolizing and recycling those hormones, which are the liver and the good bacteria. It gets in and it clears them out. So if we don't have good bacteria, you're absolutely going to end up with estrogen dominance, which we know estrogen dominance drives the painful heavy periods, the PMS, the hormonal migraines, infertility, and eventually it can even drive things like cervical dysplasia, lumps and stuff in the breasts, and all those sort of really nasty things. So we've got to clear out that bad estrogen. Now, the final infection that's most likely gone undiagnosed within your body is a parasite infection. Now, up to 80% of people have a parasite at some time. So if you've dodged that, if you're in the 20%, nice job. I want to know your secret. But if you've got pets, if you've traveled overseas, if you drink the water, if you walk bare feet on the ground, you're exposed to parasites. So doing a parasite cleanse as part of your healing protocol is a really, really important step to getting on top. Now, especially if you're someone that is sitting here with, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, you're going to have the more sinister infections most likely going on. If you're someone who's here because you're just overweight and you're struggling with PMS, you probably only have a bit of candida overgrowth or maybe a bit of gut bacteria overgrowth. But check in, understand what's potentially going on with you, okay, with your infections. Now, I know what you're probably already thinking. You're overwhelmed. Like, I've gone over so much already, and you're probably just thinking, I've wasted so much money on trying to get my hormones right. I've jumped on so many quick fix protocols. I've done all these diets, all these fad things. I've brought all these pills and potions and nothing works. You know what? I get it. I've been there, I've done that. My healing journey from going to that 14 kilos overweight with adrenal fatigue and having no periods with premature ovarian failure, to getting to that place of complete empowerment and being in control of my body, it was a bloody journey. And I had to trial and fail a whole lot of things, but know that everything I'm presenting with you is tried and tested. And I'm putting women through this 7-step hormone healing system program all the time. And I'm seeing them get the results. So I know this stuff works. So just have a little faith, open your heart, and just know that you are worthy. You don't have to feel this crap. There are answers out there. You do not have to settle for feeling like this for the rest of your life, because I know so many of you are told that by your doctor, just get on with it. Just lose weight. But it's not the case. There's things that your body specifically needs, and it will work when you're doing the right things, I promise you. So the next major teaching is about the emotional evolution. Now, this is like such a huge step, and it is the basis for really healing our emotional wounds. And these are all the things that it's based around. It's about really acknowledging that your thoughts create your reality. Now, women are beautiful, power, creative manifestors. Okay. And what I mean by that is that your thoughts create your reality. Everything you think influences your emotions. And every emotion you feel influences your vibration, this energetic field that we all have. Now, obviously, a lot of us can't see it, but it's something we can feel. And I know you know what I mean, because like I said, it's that gut feeling we get. You know, you walk past someone, for example, and you just get a bit of a bad feeling like they're not a nice person. Or you might be naturally drawn to someone in a coffee shop because they've got this beautiful big energy and they're happy and they're open. That's people's vibration. It's like our unspoken word, and you can't fake it, right? So our thoughts influence our feelings, our emotions fields influence our field, and our field determines what shows up in our world through the law of attraction. What we're vibrating out, think of yourself like an antenna, like a radio station. We're broadcasting a signal, and we attract like. So we're feeling great. How funny is it when you're feeling great and the day just keeps getting better and better? You start the day out on the wrong side of the bed and you feel crap. It's like everything just keeps going wrong, one thing afterwards, because you're in a shitty vibration. You're angry, you're cranky, you're closed over. So this is the thing. Your vibration is absolutely detrimental to everything that goes on in your world. And your hormones are the things that show us that through these emotional ups and downs that go with a hormonal imbalance, okay? The next thing that you need to know about emotional evolution is that 90% of your limiting beliefs are unconscious. So what I mean by that is we have our conscious awareness, things we're knowing and thinking right now, but then there's all these things that are going on in the background on autopilot. And if you've got beliefs in there that say, I don't trust men, I'm not worthy, I hate myself. Sounds pretty morbid, I know, but you know, we all have so many of these really limiting beliefs going on there determining our blueprint, because our beliefs determine the way we perceive events. Okay, so if you believe all men are bastards, guess what? You're going to keep calling men into your life who are bastards, because the reticular activating system is constantly searching to make your beliefs right. It wants to prove you right. So it's like how we can see things through different lenses. You know, two people could experience the exact same scenario, but see it from two completely different viewpoints based on their beliefs. Okay, so this brings me to my next point about triggers. Now, your triggers are your best friend, because when we get a trigger, like an emotional response, it shines a light on the belief that we have. Let me say that again. If we see a situation, and let's just say we're driving the car and someone cuts us off. If we believe all people are dickheads and bad drivers, we're going to be like, oh my God, what a jerk. He deliberately tried to cut me off. If you're a chilled out, relaxed person, you have a belief that people are all good humans, you're just going to go, oh, whoops, no worries, mate. I know you didn't mean it. See the difference? Our beliefs determine how we perceive the scenario, okay? So your beliefs and aligning with beliefs that feel good, that empower you, is basically the key to manifesting absolutely everything you want in your life and healing your body. So when we start manifesting disease and hormonal imbalance, it's because our body's reflecting a lot of beliefs we have about not trusting our body, not believing our body, and all these sorts of stuff as well. So this is the emotional evolution process is life-changing. It is so incredible. But start taking a note of your thoughts, your beliefs, the things that trigger you, because they're giving you information about limiting beliefs that's happening on autopilot, okay? The next thing you want to understand is about when you're cranky all the time, especially in that PMS window, it's quite often because a lot of your emotional needs are not being met. So what is an emotional need? An emotional need could be, I need to feel secure in my relationship. It could be that I need to have 30 minutes alone time every day, space to my children and my husband. That's just, that revives me. That makes me feel good. A need could be, I need to have a juice. You know, I need to be hugged by my partner every single day. So emotional needs. I need my husband to tell me with words that he loves me. These are needs. And if you don't know what you need, how can you communicate to your partner or your kids what you need? Men in particular, women are a bit more clued on to tuning in because we're more connected. Men are single focused. You need to tell them what we need, and we don't, right? Because we don't even know what we need ourselves most of the time because we're disconnected from ourselves. And so then we get to our PMS window and we haven't had that hug every day for the last month. We haven't had that reassurance that I love you every month. So then we get to that pre-match window and all our stories and our belief systems are that big, and it's like, he doesn't love me. So then he doesn't leave he doesn't put the toilet seat up, right? So we make it to mean he doesn't love me. It comes, all those emotions, all those unmet emotional needs come flying to the forefront, and they come spewing out. We have no filter, and we project and we blame and whatever. And our poor partners are just like, whoa. And they didn't even know what they did wrong most of the time, because you know what? It's never about the toilet seat. It's about that unmet emotional need. So the emotional evolution journey is really about learning to understand our needs. And it starts by really being aware of the thoughts we're having, understanding our unlimiting beliefs, really identifying, starting to break down our triggers and look at them and go, well, what do I need to know about this trigger? If that's triggering me every single day, how do I change my perception about it so it doesn't trigger anymore? And then the other final thing, which is a huge part of emotional evolution, is really about connecting back with that feminine. Okay, if we are not in our feminine, if we are operating from our masculine, when we go, rush, force, we disconnect from that beautiful, slow, soft, feminine energy, which is about feeling, which is about checking in. For example, if we're on a masculine schedule, we might be like, right, I have to go to the gym every day at 7 a.m. or else I won't lose weight. A feminine approach would be, I wake up each day and go, what do I need today? Do I need a slow, low resistance exercise like a walk today? Or do I actually need that high intensity PT session at the gym? It's going to be different every day based on so many factors in your world, based on your emotional needs, based on the stage of your cycle, based on what you ate the day before, based on your health, your immunity. So we can't keep forcing ourselves to live by a schedule, that masculine schedule. We need to be back in our feminine, connecting and knowing that our needs change from day to day, and that is a good thing. So emotional evolution is about really being tuned in and connecting and identifying these things. It's such a phenomenal area, and I would love to share it with you. If you did choose to jump on board the 7-step hormone healing system, I will teach you this entire process because it will completely transform your life. Now, I already know what you're thinking, right? But I don't have time to heal. My schedule is so busy. I'm running around after kids. This sounds like so much work I have to learn how to do. And you're right. You're not going to have time to do the healing work unless you prioritize the time. Okay. And this is really such a huge thing about teaching boundaries, learning to say no, that whole FOMO thing, but also setting a really beautiful example for your kids. You don't need to make your kids your number one priority all day, every day. You are still allowed to have time for you. Okay, we can also include children in your healing activities. Hey, when I started doing my coffee enemas, my little 1-year-old would be crawling around all over me while I'm laying there trying to do my coffee enema, and it was hilarious. But you know what? That's where I was at that stage in my life. I couldn't have that time out privacy in the bathroom to do my coffee enema because I was a mum of a little one. So find ways to incorporate your children into your healing journey. Prioritize, and sometimes it means going, okay, the house is a mess. I need to vacuum, I need to mop, but I actually want to sit down and do some inner work, some inner healing, some inner connecting, or look at my, learn some stuff. But quite often we choose the housework over us because we don't prioritize ourselves. We don't value ourselves enough to make ourselves a priority. So you know what? Your hormonal imbalance is not going to get better on its own. You need to actually value yourself and now to go, all right, I'm going to put this first. I'm going to make this a priority, looking after me, giving back to me, filling up my cup. And it is the most rewarding thing that you will absolutely ever do. Third teaching. All right. The reason your hormones are out of balance is because you were disconnected from your body. And we have already touched on this to a degree. Remember, your hormones are chemical messengers. So what are yours trying to tell you? Okay. When we connect with our body through a few different processes, and it's as simple as slowing down, listening, self-inquiry, asking yourself every morning when you wake up, what do I need today? It's about being in that soft feminine, coming back to our body, starting to acknowledge every single symptom that your body gives you. So if you wake up with a headache, rather than just getting on with your day and popping a Panadol and going about your day, acknowledging, oh, wow, I've got a headache today. What do I need? And I guarantee you, your intuition will start to flow in the more you stop and ask the questions. You might get there as, I just need a glass of water. I need to take today off. I need to slow down. I need not to do that exercise so intense the day before. You always have the answers. And the more we connect in, the more we'll get the answers. So these are the really common reasons why you are disconnected from your body though. Okay, these are the things that gradually over time disconnect us from our physical body. And remember, the hormonal imbalance is your body waving the red flag going, come back, notice me, reconnect with me, okay? So this is why we love our hormonal imbalance, right? It wants to reconnect us with our power, okay? The pill and other forms of contraception will disconnect us from that innate connection with our body. And this is why I don't like things like the pill. And the sad reality is the pill is the most convenient form of contraception, but it is slowly but surely destroying that inner flame, just denying you of that beautiful connection with your body and the wisdom that your hormones have to give you. So consider that. The other big thing is really just living for others, giving all our power away, thriving for others' approval and others' acceptance, that whole people-pleasing thing. We're constantly doing for others and giving away power. We're not really honoring and accepting ourselves. Okay, the next big one is this loss of identity. Who were you before you became a mum? Who were you before you got that degree? Who were you before you got married? We evolve into become this thing, which is beautiful. It's normal to change and evolve and become different people. But if we lose the core essence of who we are, because our whole world revolves around being a mum, that we lose our passions and things we used to do, then you are going to end up miserable. That's a surefire way of disconnecting from your body. Other things include, past traumas or wounds that you've been through, our unmet emotional needs that we've already identified, and existing in your masculine all the time, not connecting with the feminine. So all of these things are going to lead to disconnection, which is going to lead to your hormones going out of balance, which is going to lead to the symptoms that you're experiencing, the weight gain, the PMS, the loss of libido, the adrenal fatigue, bloating, the feeling 6 months pregnant every month. These are the things, the way your body's letting you know that you're disconnected, okay? And the only way to heal is to come back to your body. So the path back to you is about really allowing yourself to feel. Feeling emotions is uncomfortable. Sometimes you don't want to do it, right? It feels crap. Feels painful, but we have to feel to heal. So we have to just be brave and feel it, because that's where the message comes through. That's where the awareness and the healing comes through. Okay. You have to start prioritizing self-care above your chores, above the rules and responsibilities that you've put on yourself. Come back to self-care, and self-care can be sitting down with your bestie and having a glass of wine and having a laugh. Okay. It's not all hard work. Self-care can be fun too. The next is about reconnecting with your passions. You have to come back to you, that person you've always been, your hobbies. And it's a slow process of really identifying with those sometimes if we've disconnected so far, but you can do it. We have to be willing to be vulnerable. We have to be willing to speak up and authentically ask for help and ask for support. Lean on your community, lean on your sisters, lean on your friends. If we're trying to do it all ourselves, that's a surefire way to lead to adrenal fatigue and all the other manifestations of imbalanced hormones. Okay, I need you to remember who you are, that back to that truth of you. Stop living for other people. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop trying to do things to please other people, and just start valuing you and who you are, your goals, your visions, your values. We have to have a strong sense of that. And then finally, we have to do the inner work. And the inner work is, going through the emotional evolution process, the healing, doing things like your yoni steaming and your meditations, and just connecting back and honoring you. And it's beautiful stuff. It's not all hard work. A lot of it is fun and rewarding, and you will feel absolutely amazing for doing it, I promise. So with that, guys, I'm going to tell you about the 7-step hormone healing system. It is my online course, and it's freaking epic. It's everything that I did to heal my body from weight gain, cystic acne, underactive thyroid, starting menopause at age 27, painful heavy periods, loss of libido, self-hatred, everything, okay? And it's all online. We get this beautiful online e-course which runs you through the 7-step process, and in each step we take you through the physical, spiritual, and emotional counterparts of that e-course, of that step. So it's all there. You have access to it all for lifetime. All the lessons, all the learnings. You get the Facebook support group as part of that, where you can interact with me and ask plenty of questions. There's all the support there. The 7-step hormone healing system is a step-by-step proven step. Like I said, I'm putting so many women through this. It's everything that I did. And the last really cool thing about this program is the sisterhood support system. Okay. Healing's hard work, but you're not alone. And when we do it with other women, when other people are sharing their triumphs and sharing their hard days, you feel this sense of connection and you feel like everything's possible. So having that sisterhood is such an invaluable place. We get together online for our group healings where we can connect and we can run you through the emotional evolution healing steps. You don't have to do it yourself. You have to figure out yourself. I will guide you through the entire process. So if there's a part of you that is knowing that I can't do this anymore, I don't want to function like this anymore, I invite you to explore the 7-step hormone healing system connecting with me, we can book a call, we can jump on, we can have a chat, I can do a free assessment on you, I can answer any questions, I can be honestly from a place of integrity let you know whether this is a course that will help you or not. I'm about helping women succeed. There is no joy in me, a woman doing my program and not getting any success. So I guarantee you, I am just as invested in you getting the results and feeling good from this as you are. So please know that there are answers out there. You don't have to suffer anymore. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to support you. If you have any questions, please reach out. I look forward to chatting with you. I look forward to seeing your beautiful smiley face and all the results you're going to get in the program. Thank you so much for connecting in. I hope this has given you some peace and some reassurance that life can absolutely get better.